Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of
Yes.
him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua's one of the biggest one-punch KO artists ever.
Yes.
I mean, he's a one-punch night-night guy.
Yeah.
Wade, if Jake Paul gets knocked out, will his career be over? Buddy, his life may be over if he gets knocked out by AJ, because that dude put Francis Ngannou flat on his back, and I had never seen Francis Ngannou hurt before. Again,
I don't think this is a proper. I don't think that I would ever consider having a debate about whether Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul is a proper fight between two bona fide champions. I think Jake Paul is someone that's creating a lot of opportunity for himself and using sport as the anchor for it. And would I watch it? No. And do I value it? No.
Joe Rogan cautioned that Jake Paul is putting himself in serious danger by entertaining the idea of facing Anthony Joshua. Rogan highlighted that Joshua is an Olympic gold medalist with elite-level power and experience, and said Joshua would likely punish Jake to send a message about calling out top-tier champions to clout. According to Rogan, the skill gap is so massive that the matchup could end in a very rough night for Jake.
If he beat Anthony Joshua, good Lord. I mean, that's a big if, right?
I mean,
Anthony Joshua,
I do not think.
Olympic gold medalist, former heavyweight champion of the world. What he did to Francis Ngannou, like, good Lord.
Yes.
Do you want that smoke?
Yeah, I just think it's all about the promotion or whatever. I have no idea what the actual motivation is for that fight's not competitive at all.
Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua's one of the biggest one-punch KO artists ever.
Yes.
I mean, he's a one-punch.
Wade Plemons, host of the Wade Concept podcast, issued a strong warning to Jake Paul, saying that taking on Anthony Joshua could put his long-term health at risk. Plemons explained that Jake usually weighs around 90 kilograms, while Joshua competes near 111 kilograms, a huge gap in size, strength, and natural power. He added that it's one thing to chase viral moments, but stepping in with a former heavyweight champion who also owns an Olympic gold medal is a completely different level of danger. According to Plemons, a knockout from someone like Joshua could have lasting consequences, making this matchup more than just a bad idea. It could be life-changing. He argued that Jake's desire to secure a massive payday preventing him from seeing how risky this fight truly is.
taking this fight, one, yes, that's the former heavyweight champ. Why is he fighting Jake Paul? And two, why is Jake Paul putting his health and well-being on the line? Because someone asked me on Twitter, Wade, if Jake Paul gets knocked out, will his career be over? Buddy, his life may be over if he gets knocked out by AJ, because that dude put Francis Ngannou flat on his back, and I had never seen Francis Ngannou hurt before. Again, it's boxing, not MMA. Jake has a little more experience, but we're talking about a massive size difference. AJ's still relatively young and still relatively got something left in the tank, and he's only fought the world-class guys for the last 10 years. This would be Jake's not only hardest fight, most dangerous fight of his career. If Jake is doing this, it could signal the last one. I'm not even joking. This could signal Jake being like, I'm having one more of these and I'm out. Because where do you go from Anthony Joshua? We'll get into that part in a second, but the Netflix thing. We know that Anthony Joshua is an exclusive fighter to DAZN. Eddie Hearn has stated that multiple times. AJ, I'm pretty sure, even has a piece of DAZN. I could be wrong about that, but he signed a mega deal years ago with them. So for this fight to take place on Netflix would mean DAZN would say, you can have one of our biggest cash draws, and I may be in a revenue share thing, or maybe Netflix pays them some money, but you can have our biggest cash draw and we don't have an affiliation with it. That seems a bit unrealistic. But having said that, this isn't a report from anybody in the camp. This is not MVP saying it. This is not Eddie Hearn saying it. This is Mike Coppinger, who I guess has talked to people in the camp. But an independent source saying that they are finalizing a deal. Not that they're in talks. They are finalizing a deal. So this is, again, we're talking 1 yard line, first and goal.
Boxing Kingdom reported on X that negotiations are underway for a full professional bout between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. According to their update, the fight would not be an exhibition. It would be contested under official Queensberry rules with licensed officials, judges, and the same regulations used in any sanctioned heavyweight fight. This reinforces that the discussions are being taken seriously and that both fighters will be stepping into a real high-risk contest. Rumors have been circulating that the matchup is being targeted for December, creating a surge of excitement throughout the boxing community. However, Eddie Hearn, Joshua's longtime promoter, has dismissed the chatter as premature. He has clarified that no binding agreements are in place and that most of the headlines are based on incomplete information or early speculation. On the other hand, Ariel Helwani believes a widespread buzz is a sign that something is building behind closed doors. In his view, when there's many insiders and outlets start discussing the same potential fight, it usually means meaningful progress is happening. Helwani thinks a showdown between Paul and Joshua could realistically come together by the end of the year or early next year, even if Hearn is urging caution for now.
Joshua and Jake Paul are finalizing a deal for a heavyweight fight on Netflix in December in Miami. Sources tell Ring Magazine Paul steps up massively to fight the former heavyweight champion after his exhibition with Gervonta Davis was canceled. Major props to Paul. So there you have it. In the midst of all this, I did reach out to Eddie Hearn, as did Gareth, and he said, "We have spoken, but nothing close, and I doubt he would be so crazy." He being Jake. I then asked him, "Would you say this report is premature?" He said, "Absolutely." And then I said, "Can I attribute this to you?" And he said, "Yes." And so, what do we make of this, guys? Do we think there's smoke to this fire? PT, what do you think? Do you think this is something that could actually happen? This would be within the next month, right? This would be sometime between now and probably December 19th or so, in that time frame. What do you think?
I think it's a huge fight. You know, I didn't expect this at all. Usually when Jake is in a fight, the odds feel like they're stacked very much in his favor. This is the complete opposite of that. I'd very much agree with Gareth A. Davies' take, which was I'd expect Joshua to obliterate him in a boxing match. I mean, look what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou before that Dubois fight. Like, I mean, it was a completely different affair than the Tyson Fury fight. I think, having heard Eddie Hearn's update and having looked at that tweet again, it feels like boxing's equivalent to the old in the works reporting that we used to see in MMA an awful lot, right? Like when we weren't quite sure, maybe one side had verified that this fight is happening, but you can't get the other side to commit, and it's in the works. It's a huge fight. The one thing I will say is, why would you want that out there? Why would the Ring report this? Why would someone give them that information if it wasn't going to happen? Now, because everything else pales in comparison to this, as far as I'm concerned. Every other fight that they had perspective or potential, I don't think it's as big as Anthony Joshua. So I don't know.
This isn't a ring fight, right? This isn't a ring fight. Anthony Joshua is tied to DAZN. Anthony Joshua has a relationship with Turkey Al-Sheikh and Riyadh Season. The ring is owned.
MMA Fighting shared on X that Leon Edwards weighed in on the swirling rumors about a possible showdown between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. Edwards didn't hold back, saying that if Joshua fails to knock Paul out within the first couple of rounds, then something would feel off. His blunt reaction underscores the massive difference in experience, punching power, and ring IQ between the two. Coming from a UFC welterweight champion, Edwards' remark reflects the broader sentiment in combat sports. If the fight actually happens, Joshua is expected to dominate quickly and decisively. His comment also highlights just how dangerous such a matchup could be for Jake Paul, and why so many doubt Paul's ability to absorb Joshua's power for any significant length of time.
You've seen this fight's in the works, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. As a Brit, how do you evaluate?
Just seen that. Someone just told me about that. That's mad. Fair play to Jake Paul, first of all, for taking it. But if Asia doesn't knock him out in like 1-2 rounds, then I feel like the fight must be fixed or something, because I'm going to Anthony Joshua, obviously, for the KO. So yeah, when is it, you know?
It's going to be next month they're working towards.
Oh yeah, sick. Yeah, I'm going AJ for the win.
Francis Ngannou, the former MMA heavyweight champion who transitioned into boxing, previously stepped into the ring with Anthony Joshua, and the result was a devastating knockout. That moment served as a clear reminder of Joshua's legitimate power and polished heavyweight abilities. Jake Paul had once entertained the idea of fighting Ngannou, which was already an ambitious move given Francis' fearsome reputation. But now the discussion has shifted toward Joshua, a man who not only stopped Ngannou but has consistently proven that his combination of size, athleticism, and technical skill makes him one of the most dangerous heavyweights in the sport. In essence, Jake is now pursuing a fighter who demolished someone as terrifying as Ngannou, a decision that carries massive potential reward but comes with enormous danger. Earlier in negotiations, the proposed matchup was Jake Paul versus Francis Ngannou. but Ngannou publicly dismissed the idea, calling it disrespectful and stating he had no interest in spending his time on a bout with a social media-driven crossover boxer.
With Jake and everything's wrong with Francis. He can go with Francis. So now all of a sudden you start satisfying both ends of this. Okay. So when that falls through, the rumor is that Francis and Jake are still in talks. Even though Francis did not come through on the event he was offered and the date he was offered, MVP and Netflix may be willing to reschedule everything and still make him part of it. And Francis' big statement was just, hey, this doesn't make sense. No, it's not what I'm looking for. Doesn't make sense. Okay. That's not my business. I can't be mad at Francis for that. That just cost Francis a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That just cost Francis life-changing money. I can't be mad. If I'm mad at Francis, then I got my way. He cut off his nose to spite his face. I can't be mad at him. He's already been punished. What good does it do me to be mad at him? All right. Well, then you bring in Joshua. Joshua shows you how it's done. Right? Joshua and Francis are not remarkably comparable. Not only did they box, they're not remarkably comparable, but in the world of boxing, just the accomplishments. I mean, you take Joshua Benson, an Olympic finalist, for goodness sakes, right? Just like lifelong, very well known. Multiple generations of boxing ties. You know, go all the way back to Klitschko. Go all the way back. You couldn't go before Klitschko was there first, but you go all the way back to Klitschko. Anything that has ever happened in the sport of boxing since you can tie Joshua to. And he's a professional, and above everything else, he's a real boxer. So if he is to say something makes sense, then it makes sense. Right? If you have Joshua's opinion of does this make sense to now, none of us know what sense means. We don't even know if he's spelling it with an S or a C. None of us can define or tell you what this means. It makes such little sense that Francis can't even tell you why it doesn't make sense. But again, I can't be mad at Francis. He already pissed down his own leg. So, but if you could have Francis's opinion of what in the world of boxing or combat or money or business or sport makes sense, like Francis's level of success is not remarkably...
Simon Jordan, the outspoken UK boxing analyst and former football club owner, didn't soften his opinion. He said the idea of Anthony Joshua fighting Jake Paul is outright foolish. While he admits some money on the table would be enormous, he argues a matchup isn't about genuine sporting merit. It's pure entertainment dressing itself up as competition. Jordan points out that Joshua is a two-time heavyweight champion who has faced elite opponents and earned a legitimate legacy in the sport. Jake Paul, in his view, isn't remotely on that level. He warns that a fight like this would do nothing for Joshua's career historically, while putting Jake at serious risk and undermining what heavyweight boxing traditionally represents.
Between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul in December. What does it tell us, Simon? Does it tell us more, as I said in the introduction, about the falling star of AJ or the rising one of Jake Paul?
It tells you that there's a huge opportunity for enormous amounts of money to be generated around a fight that really has no integrity behind it in terms of as a fight, but in terms as a media spectacle and entertainment opportunity. You've got a very talented YouTuber that's built himself into a massive influence with huge following, and you've got a former two-time champion of the world that operates at a very high level of engagement. Whether he's a high level of performer anymore is a different discussion. So it becomes about how much can this fight generate, how many eyes on the prize. I mean, I spoke to his very close friend, Michael Jarman, about this very fight about 3 or 4 months ago, and he was like, what do you think? I said, what difference does it make? Oh, it would potentially jeopardize his legacy. His legacy's sealed. You cannot undo the fact, whatever you think of Anthony Joshua.
It might damage it.
I don't think so. What it will do is increase his bank balance, but I think in the great, I mean, it didn't damage Muhammad Ali's reputation to go in with a sumo wrestler, did it?
No, but after, when Joshua was at his peak, Simon, if I had said to you there and then, do you know what, maybe in December 2025, Anthony Joshua will fight a YouTuber.
This is the entertainment business, and Anthony Joshua is an entertainer, and you can't undo the fact that he won the World Heavyweight Championship twice. and he fought in some great fights.
So why does he need this?
Because he's in the business of entertainment. And if an opportunity is presented to him and someone wants to say that we can monetize this to the huge levels that are potentially available, why wouldn't you? It's a walk in the park.
You see, you're not having Saturday night.
Because I know
Tony Bellew, the former WBC cruiserweight champion turned analyst, made it clear he wants no part in believing the rumors. Bellew said he won't accept the fight as real until both men are actually inside the ring. He reminded fans that boxing is supposed to be a disciplined sport with structures in place to protect fighters, not a circus act where dangerous mismatches are booked for views and quick cash. Bellew stressed that size, pedigree, and heavyweight power are real factors, and Jake Paul hasn't developed the base or experience required to safely compete with someone like Anthony Joshua. He argued that if discussions continue, promoters and regulators must prioritize the safety of the less seasoned fighter, in this case Jake, rather than throwing him into a potentially harmful situation. Across the boxing world,